crawling in the bright daylight, voices twisted, feeding us the blight, telling stories that were never true. We fight to break on through. Lies are woven like a velvet chain, slick with power driving us insane. But the fire burns deep within our chests. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we make our mark. They call us rebels, say we've lost our way, but freedom's blood, it fuels the fray. From the ashes comes a brighter light. We fight with all our might. See resolve in the roaring storm, breaking cages will rewrite the norm. No more silence, no more disguise. We fight with open eyes. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we make our mark. We fight, we make our mark.
What's up, everybody? Members Live! How we doing tonight? Whew, it is a doozy of a day. Holy smokes. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but if you have missed what we've seen so far today, it's about as crazy as I've ever seen things get for the MAGA movement. Trump, I mean, that includes all first term and now. Wow. But anyways, so I got a lot to cover. We're going to talk about this, but definitely deep dive it. But it is a members live, so going to take our time, do it a little more relaxed, enjoy you guys, and a little less official. I'll pay more attention to your comments, questions, all that. If you guys have anything you want to deep dive, break into, please bring them up. Members Lives is especially important for me to hit out whatever you guys is on your minds. So please share your opinions, your thoughts, your questions. And let me tell you, stream's clear today. Good job, Rumble Studio. We're getting better. Let me tell you, it might get controversial tonight, and that's okay. I don't need you to agree with me. I'm not looking for perfect agreement. But I do think what I'm going to say tonight needs to be heard. I think we're at a crossroads. I do. I think something very big is going on. So let's talk about it real soon. But first, going to say hey to some of the members over on Rumble willing to step into the chat. What in tarnation? What's going on? Rally code. Butters, it's me. Well, how's it going on, guys? Good to see you. Members on Rumble, I know you're getting there from the Patreon link to the unlisted live. So thank you guys for supporting me on Patreon. God bless y'all. I know not everybody is moving over to Rumble yet, and that's okay. If you still have a members account on YouTube, you can still access the members live stream in there. I'm not quite ready to kick YouTube yet because, well, reasons. But we are moving away from there. So if you're on YouTube, just know that the members' lives on YouTube will not continue forever. Eventually, it will be Rumble only. And so just FYI, if you want to continue in the members' lives, and I hope you do, I really try to make these valuable to you guys, get your money's worth. But if you want to continue in that, you're gonna want to join on the Patreon, and that by going into the description, clicking that link, get a free month. That's my way to say thank you and try to make sure you do not get double charged. And once you're in Patreon, go ahead and cancel the YouTube membership. It won't hurt my feelings. YouTube has not been very good to me, and so I don't plan on being good to it. And by letting it take a percentage of your guys' money, if you want to better support the channel, the Patreon is the way to do it. And so we will phase that out completely, but the time's not right yet. There's just too many people still wanting to stay on YouTube, and it's okay. I just got to make sure the message gets out, and but we're getting closer. We're getting closer. So everybody on Rumble, thank you for signing into the Patreon, because I know that's the only way you got there. But over on YouTube, where the members still are, where there's still the most of you, and that's okay. Let's say hey to some peeps. Wagga Waco, what's up? Country Computers, US1, Big B, Crypto World, what's going on? BN Pro, Hero at Large, Alice Fordham, good to see you guys. Jake Neville, what's up? Rum Dog, Big B. Oh, I already said Big B. Troy, man, what's going on? Oh, Mad Max, holy cow. What's up, man, with the $10 super chat to start off the night. Thank you, Max. That should earn you the purple crown, by the way. He says, I've been on the Trump train since he descended down the escalator of Trump Tower. I'm with him till the end. Just hope we're not at the end right now. Everything he says makes things worse. I agree and disagree. And I'm going to tell you how I can talk out both sides of my mouth as we go through this. But again, it's confusing. There's a lot going on. I think you'll have more clarity again after tonight. I hope I can provide that to you by giving lots of analysis and ways of looking at it. So, we're going to do our best, but I agree with you. I am with Trump till the end. The only way I would turn on Trump at all is if it came out with overwhelming evidence that he actually is one of the predators. And I think the evidence is so overwhelming he's not, that it would be very hard to believe it unless it was overwhelming. So I'm with Trump. There's no way you're going to get me away from him. I consider him the first leader of my lifetime worth following. I think he's a leader, a historical leader, the kind of leader you read about in books, in the good sense of the word. He's a Winston Churchill. He's a George Washington. He's the kind of guy that deserves loyalty and is changing a nation and fighting for a nation in a way that's different than other presidents. And I get criticized for this a lot. Well, why are you such a big Trump fan? You're shilling for Trump. Listen, the dude spent 10 years gaining my loyalty. You think in 1 week I'm going to give it away because I'm a little confused? Come on. That's ridiculous. You know how much we're winning right now? The Epstein thing is not a loss. It's only a loss in messaging because nothing's happened. Okay, just remember that. Nothing's actually happened. So if it feels like we're losing, you got to check yourself and wonder, why does it feel like we're losing? Well, it does because there's a lot of narrative going on right now, and there's some disappointment, but it's not actually anything that's happened yet. The stuff that is happening is huge wins, and I'm going to cover that in a second here. But Trump is not disappointing us as far as being president. The disappointment's in the language. The disappointment is in the lowered expectations for whatever's coming out with Epstein, and that's all real. That's absolutely real. I'm not negating that. But that, to me, it just still doesn't add up. He's doing such a good job as president. So for me, I consider him my general. He's the first president of my life I feel like I would go to war for and trust. First president of my life, I felt like a leader in my life. I felt that deserves trust over scrutiny. It doesn't mean he doesn't deserve any scrutiny. It doesn't mean he's perfect. It means that he's proven it enough to me where, if you had a family member, a close friend that even if they were doing crazy stuff, you're like, all right, man, I trust you. I trust you. I don't understand, but I trust you. That's how I am with Trump. And so I really don't care about people's opinions about him on a personal level. I don't care when they are freaking out. I'm not freaking out even a little bit. What I think is that I think it's important to look at what's actually happening versus just what's being said. I really do. And that's okay. And it's okay if you disagree with me. That's fine. You're just not going to get through to me. You're not going to, I've done the research. I've done more work than 99.9% of people on this subject. There's nothing you could say to me that convinced me that Trump's a bad egg. There's nothing you could say to convince me that Trump is covering for Israel or for the bad guys. So to me, it has to be something else. I literally cannot be convinced unless it's actually proven. And and when it comes through all this, the information, the evidence is much more on my side than anybody else's. And I've been proving that over the last several lives as I've actually covered the whole, everything going on, all the information, including what the context of the past. The proof is on my side here. But the question is where are we going? And that's what nobody really knows. P. Udoka, what's up, man? He's on Rumble. Says different than the tube. It is. I know. Z Grooms, what's going on? I do not know who you are in Discord. What's up? Rumdog says, to me, there is no controversy. The fact there's talk of controversy keeps the narrative alive. Just what the left and rhinos want. You know, I mean, that's very possible. Absolutely. And I agree there's no controversy, but there is concern, and that's valid. Hero says the Dems had 4 years to put out Epstein info. President Trump had them fighting for the info to believe. Amen. Jake Neville says, what did our first biracial president do for you? Nothing. Are you talking about Obama? Rumdog said, so much time passed, evidence been destroyed and altered since the election. I think you're right. I really do. So Rumble people, I am sorry. I know Rumble is not as good with the chat, but it does have a chat and we can make it into something. So don't give up on it. Give it a try. And I can see what you're writing. So, you know, I'd love to engage with you guys more too. As again, we're trying to turn Rumble into the main place for the lives, not because the technology is better. I wish it was, but because it's a free speech platform and they aren't trying to rob me and ruin my channel the way YouTube is. So that's got to count for something, right? We can make it work. Also, I can't read it in real time, but if you do have other comments and you want to write me, if you're on Patreon, you have many ways to do so, or you can always hit me up on X. All right. So let's get into it. All right. You guys ready? We got a lot to cover. So I'm going to do my best. Kim Wiley, what's going on over on Rumble? Love it. Love it. Thanks for being there, guys. I appreciate your support. All right. Donald Trump today. This is the truth that lit up the world. He says today, you guys ready for this one? This is so wild. I just no president you could ever imagine writing this before, not even Trump. The radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again. Just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, which the Dems swore came from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom. And even Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in the 2016 presidential election. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. They are no good at governing, no good at policy, no good at picking winning candidates. Also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and my past supporters have bought into this BS hook, line, sinker. My past supporters. That is wild. That is a wild statement. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. I've had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history. All these people want to talk about with strong prodding by the fake news and success-starved Dems is Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible, unprecedented success because I don't want their support anymore. Whew. My God, that we've never seen that before. A president flat out saying, I don't even want your support anymore. That is such a crazy statement. Now, I've had a lot of people be like, Trump doesn't want me anymore. I'll back off, blah, blah, blah. Listen, he is talking about the influencers. He's not talking about regular MAGA people. Okay. Because they're regular MAGA people he has nothing against. He knows that we all are out here and a lot of us can be swayed by the influencers. He's talking about the people who public people. And that he's telling them, I don't even want you anymore. Whew. My friends, that's a big statement because that would involve a lot of people. A lot of people. We could go through them. It's not even worth the time, except for Trump. I gotta tell you, Trump, I just never thought he'd say this to me, but he says he doesn't even want me anymore. Oh, Trump, I just, because of World War III and all we're gonna go through with Epstein, and my feelings are hurt, Trump. My feelings are hurt. I stopped drinking and got down a little bit, but I can't even do his voice tonight. My voice is, it hurts. Woo! I've been a little busy. My voice is a little weak. Trying to do the Alex Jones voice, a little tough. But yes, Alex Jones, he's definitely got to be at the top of that list because he has been one of the worst perpetrators of this. Sorry. Q Alerts over on Rumble says the main reason Rumble stinks because the link opens Rumble in a browser rather than their app. The browser experience not as good yet. That's why. Sorry to hear that, man. I'll see what I can figure out. Maybe there's another place I can host a live stream. Excuse me. Now I screwed up my voice. Jelly, what's going on Rumble? Okay, never do an Alex Jones voice when your voice is weak. Oh man, I crushed myself. Okay. Anyways. Rumdog says if there are bad actors that are about to be caught up in other lawsuits, karma will have its day. US1 says, question, did Cash say before becoming the director of FBI that Epstein's black book was locked away in a safe and directors Ray's office? I do believe he said something about that. I can't remember the exact words. Well, Rumdog, we're going to get back to that. Big B says he doesn't need to get elected again. He doesn't. But he does need to win the midterms for a lot of reasons. Not least of which is if he wants to have any chance of having the second half of a term that's not completely destroyed or slowed down, he better have a Republican Congress. And we need it too, because without Congress being more MAGA and, MAGA in general, we're not going to get a lot of our stuff locked in, and we desperately need that. FJ Cruiser saying, hey, on Rumble, what's going on? Brett Montgomery reminding everybody, like, subscribe. Thank you so much. And Franzia for all. Love that. Is the black book a little racist? It might be. Okay. Got to keep moving here. So after that's announced, John Solomon, who's been just doing the best creating reporting on this right now, says Trump embraces a special prosecutor for weaponization probe and Epstein vows new declassification. So he's got the inside scoop. And then he has Trump on for an interview. And I got to play clips of this interview because the interview is fantastic and very, very interesting. Here's the first clip I want to play for you guys.
Hoax, too, because that's another hoax that's frankly put out by the pushing the Republicans and put out by the Democrats.
No, they definitely set the Republicans up. One big prosecutor look at it all. Would that make you feel good, you think?
Well, I think it's in the case of Epstein, they've already looked at it and they are looking at it. And I think all they have to do is put out anything credible. But, that was run by the Biden administration for 4 years. I can imagine what they put into files, just like they did with the others. I mean, the Steele dossier was a total fake.
Right.
It took 2 years to figure that out for the people. And all of the things that you mentioned were fake. Yeah. So I would imagine if they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration, they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. But
did you hear that? So many of the things we found are fake. Interesting.
Especially you look at that Steele dossier where they paid like 14 or 16 million That's more than James Patterson gets paid to do a #1 bestseller.
Isn't that crazy?
And the thing turned out to be a total scam. So frankly, I think I love that they're looking at all this stuff. If they are, I hope they are.
Yeah, we've definitely confirmed.
Hear that? I love that they're looking into this stuff. So Trump is clearly believing he's going to get some exoneration, but at the same time, he's telling us that there's fake stuff in there. Now, I was listening to Sean Spicer today, and he broke it down really well. He said that what we think of as the files is more than likely a compilation of somebody's reporting on all the stuff that's been out there. And so it's most likely just like a spreadsheet that somebody put in. But if it's just a spreadsheet like that, okay, it means that anything can be put in. Anything can be put in because there's no way to trace anything. There's no way to trace the age of it. There's no way to trace the handwriting, anything. All you can do is see who logged in or out. But if it's the same guy or same gal recording all this stuff, building this spreadsheet of names and how they connected to Epstein and all that, and they're like, this is it, this is the list, well, then they can add anything they want. And you guys have seen how our government works. It's not like Epstein just had a book that said, hey, all these guys were rapists. Hey, by the way, this guy did this night. That's not how it works. He probably had a list of contacts. They had obviously the flight logs, and then he might have had tapes of these people, but for blackmail. But it's not as simple. Like if the tapes are destroyed, then all you have is a compilation of he said, she said, and all that. There's no actual proof of crime. And so when people say release the list, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about lists that have been compiled by people, which easily could have been manipulated. So I believe that's one of the things Trump's talking about is he's saying that what they found as they were actually going through everything is that it's impossible to tell who committed crimes and who didn't. And I think that's one of the issues they're really running up into. However, I think what this is going to turn into is I think it's going to be very difficult to find all the people who actually committed the rapes. I just think that might be very tough to accomplish. Not saying we won't get there, but from everything, it sounds like that's going to be tough. They might not even have what they could have for that. But what might be accomplished out of this is finding out who actually who rigged the information over the last 4 years. Now that's a major scandal. And that if that's proven, then the whole Epstein thing goes away anyways. So it's good for Trump. Now it's not good for the fact that we want justice. We want people to go after. The question is I don't know if we'll get there, but we might get them in other ways, just like I talked about the other night. And if once a criminal, always a criminal, you're going to be caught one way or the other. So that's how it start. Part of the interview I wanted to share, MJ Truth Ultra says, breaking it down, Democrats run these files during the Biden admin. I can only imagine what they put in the files, just like they did with the others. He's comparing it to all the other ones we know are fake, which is Russia, so on and so forth, the Steele dossier and all that. So, but he continued. There's some more really good stuff in this interview. Let me play another clip for you guys.
All the things that have happened. There's the Russia collusion against you. There is Jack Smith against you. There's all the things that happened in 2020, not investigating China interference in the 2020 election. Where do you think, what are the things are most important that you would like to see the FBI get to the bottom of?
I think they could look at all of it. It's all the same scam. They could look at this Jeffrey Epstein hoax also, because that's the same stuff. That's all put out by Democrats.
Yeah.
And, some of the naive Republicans fall right into line like they always do. They just don't have the sustainability.
Trump is just throwing rocks right now. I mean, the Democrats do this and the naive Republicans always fall in line. I mean, he has put people on notice.
They don't have, they don't have that stick to it like glue. The Democrats, they have bad policy. They have bad candidates. They have bad everything, but they stick together. The Republicans don't do that, but they ought to look into the Jeffrey Epstein hoax too, because that's another hoax that's frankly put out by the pushing the Republicans and put out by the Democrats.
So what are we going to find? It's just more and more interesting because Trump he's not backing down. He's doubling down on this. And anytime Trump's ever doubled down, I've just found him that he turns out to be right. But he's doubling down on this. And he's appointing more investigation. Now, Mad Max says, I think a special prosecutor is a bad move. It'll cost over $50 million, take 5 years, and resolve nothing. I very much disagree with you. Even though Durham didn't produce what we wanted, a lot of the reasons for that is just he chose not to prosecute. And that's because they were in DC. And under the Biden administration, it's not that uncovered nothing. It's just that he decided not to prosecute. And that's what people wanted. But it might cost $50 million, but that's pennies to the government. But as far as 5 years, that's just simply not true. The last couple of special prosecutors finished in about anywhere from a year to 2 years. It's nothing like 4 or 5 years like you're talking about. And if this takes a year, great. I don't even think it'll take that long, though. I think it'd be especially fast. I think it could be a 6-month investigation. Totally worth our time. And it would resolve a lot. So I disagree with you, Max, but I do understand why you say that. Rumdog says, if cash applies more and more pressure, someone will flip. That would be awesome. Jelly's asking me about the good news about Comey's daughter. Oh, yeah, don't worry. We'll cover that in a minute. Q Alert says, does anyone remember when Q posted a pic of the wall CCTVs on operation on Epstein's Island? Of course, that doesn't mean the good guys have the CCTV videos. Perhaps many were destroyed. Absolutely. I think that's a very good possibility. But Rumdog that says a Durham report can be referenced 100%. And Brett asks, he says, I hope Gavin Newsom's in the files, because he's been importing illegal cheap hair gel from China for years. Yeah, fortunately, that's not a crime. Is Kenneth Starr still alive? Yeah, he did such a great job the first time. Lucid Heart, what's going on? Rumdog, yes, the prosecutions going forward, they're trying to get them all down in Florida, which takes us to another the breakdown right here. And this is where it seems to be headed. So let's talk about this for a second. Epstein saga. Did Democrats corrupt the files? His pedo activities reportedly continued till 2018. A lawsuit filed, we talked about this the other day, bringing girls as young as 12 to the island between 01 and 19. Air traffic controllers reporting sightings of him with girls appear to be 11 years old. Epstein operating since the mid-90s. Obama was president until 2017. Trump took over. Epstein arrested July 6, 2019. Federal charges, sex trafficking of minors. He says that alone significant. He previously been arrested in July 06 on state charges in Florida for soliciting prostitution. Got the plea deal in 08 in the Alex Acosta. And it says this stemmed from 2018 Miami Herald expose and 2019 scandal leading to Epstein's rearrest, with OPR coordinating with CIA cancel on sensitive info. Essentially, Obama and the deep state had control over what info the next administration would have access to. There you go. I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, he got busted and got the plea deal 08. Obama comes in immediately after that. And then for 8 years, we hear nothing. So, and Epstein continued to operate. So Obama, on Obama's watch, Epstein was allowed to operate the whole time. And they already had his arrest and many documents of him screwing around, I should say. So that tells you something right there. What was Obama doing with those documents? How are they coordinating it? Says, did Trump have enough control, support to do anything? Signs point to yes to me. I lost my spot. Because it led to the arrest of Epstein and his eventual suicide. Then Biden's elected. Massive amounts of info about the royal family, Bill Clinton, have come out, proving blackmail and control over world leaders and influential figures during this time. Trump is president again, and now he's stating Dems poisoned the well on Epstein. Now, whether intentionally or unintentionally, President Trump is creating this massive Streisand effect. Interesting. Timeline in the nutshell, Trump knows something we don't. There's always a strong possibility Trump's using this as leverage to dig the U.S. out of a very deep hole and get things done that normally would be impossible for another president to accomplish. We're on the verge of dismantling the IRS. We're on the verge of eliminating income tax. We're making historic trade deals, bringing industry back. And it just keeps going, all the wins, how they failed. But here's some of the interesting stuff. Is it possible he's alive? There's Epstein's real nose. And here's the hook nose of the person they carried out. So, I mean, unless it's a broken nose from him getting in a fight and being killed, pretty crazy. That's not the same nose. So these are the kind of things that are important, guys. And just, why we need to take everything in its full perspective. Now, on top of all that, we have this. Remember, I talked to you about Dershowitz yesterday. It says, first thing you learn about the Epstein case when you dive into it, massive amounts of civil litigation where NDAs were signed. The vast majority of victims don't want to go public. Most people only think about NDAs going one way. Victim signs it to get a judgment, but it goes the other way too. To ensure identities remain hidden for all time and never public, the court agrees victim can never be identified in any later criminal investigation. Breaches this agreement leads to victim being publicly identified is a breach of the contract. So with all the NDAs from the civil suits, it's very possible it's impossible for them to release everything, which is why he keeps saying release what you can, and that's it. So this is the kind of stuff, it's important. Nobody's talking about this. I don't know why nobody's talking about this. It's very true. There's been several huge cases, civil litigation cases. I mean, was it JP Chase Morgan settled like $170 million case over this? That was several victims were involved in that one. You better believe there's NDAs all over that crap. So how much can we find out? In a way, the victims, if they sign that NDA, they accept that, and they accept that money. It makes it very difficult to prosecute after that. Different Breed said, just canceled on YouTube, had already signed up for Patreon, told them in the reasoning they're losing one of the not the best show on YouTube. Different Breed, you're the man. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Brett says, they could also be going back and changing it from Mike Obama to Michelle Obama. That might take time. You're right. Moose over on Rumble. What's up, buddy? And Shogun's over there too. Good to see you guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate it very much so. All right. Got more for you. All right. So this is where Trump's at now. I hate when the clips do this. X has been having issues lately. I don't know if it's you guys. I keep having this happen with clips, so it's not going to play. But from Nick Sorter, Trump's own words, Trump on whether he's disowning past supporters, pushing for transparency over the Epstein files. This is such a not true statement. It's not about the past supporters. I mean, it's a true statement because that's his words, but he's talking about the influencers. He says, I lost a lot of faith in certain people because they got duped by the Democrats. It's going to be really interesting to see who Trump allows in his orbit after this. This is the great culling of the MAGA influencers. They are all going to be sifted by the Trump administration now over who's going to be trusted, who's not, with the inside access and everything. There's a reason why Charlie Kirk, after getting some calls in the other day, decided, I'm going to back off on this a little bit. I think he knows what's actually going down. Rumdog said FBI may have sabotaged whistleblower employee files so they can't be rehired. Well, that's interesting. JP Morgan sold for $290 million. Holy smokes, Terry. Thank you for sharing that. I had no idea it was that much. That's crazy. I think there was another settlement for 170, but wow, 290. That's crazy. All right. MJ Truth shares. Trump said he's going to remember the people turning their backs on him. 1 year ago, your country was dead. All my supporters want to talk about is Epstein hoax. It's unbelievable. I'm going to remember every one of these guys. Let's hear him say it himself.
1 year ago, your country was dead. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Amazing.
And all my supporters want to talk about is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I think that goes away quickly. I do.
So,
Yeah.
sir,
Well,
speaking.
it's a disgrace, and I remember every one of these guys. They're my supporters, and they love it, and they love it, and it's all induced by the Democrats. The Democrats are the ones that are getting.
Did you hear Solomon there? Remember, nobody's done better work on this than Solomon. But Solomon agrees with him when he says it's by the Democrats. He says it is. He's completely nodding in agreement. And, also agrees with it. Pretty smart guy. Bill O'Reilly. O'Reilly was not a huge Trump guy. And then he started researching Trump and he came along and is like, now he's all in. And here's why Bill O'Reilly explaining why Trump's lashing out with Cuomo. I think this is a great clip. So check this out.
It's a lot of politics injected because that's what, as you say every night, that's what the country's about. So for 4 years, Merrick Garland had these files or whatever they are. Maybe they're not files. Maybe they're just loose leaf sheets of paper. I don't know what they are. He had them for 4 years. Our pal Mo Rocca, who I like, California congressman, Democrat, said not one word. 4 years. Yet now he's introducing a bill to force President Trump to release everything. No redactions, nothing, which is insane.
Mo Rocca is the media critic. Ro Khanna is the member of Congress.
Did I say Rocca? Okay, Ro Khanna. These Italians, it just gets me.
But anyway, I wish he was Italian. He would raise our IQ level 4 points.
Well, he wishes he were Italian. So it's immediately politicized and it's foolishness.
Right.
Because Congress can't force President Trump to release anything. They can't. I mean, it's not in the Constitution. But they're just doing this to embarrass Trump. And that's what really teased Trump off. That's the essence of the story. He knows that the opposition is using this, a bunch of phonies, because they didn't care about it for 4 years, to try to hurt him. And then his own people, his loyal people, are helping the people that want to hurt him. So he goes, I don't need you. Okay.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's a lot of people in MAGA or close, at least voted for Trump, who are very angry about this Epstein stuff. However, the vast majority of those people, 95% of them, would already be over it if their influencer, who they listen to, who they get their news from, was telling them, listen, we think Trump's got something here. Let's see where this goes. We could still keep calling for it. If they were doing what I'm doing, we'd have a lot less people freaking out right now. And just like O'Reilly just said, Trump's getting pissed because he sees what's happening. He sees they're just using it to rile everybody up against him, to get everybody ticked off, losing their minds, all emotional. And that's driving Trump nuts because Trump, in his mind, is thinking, dude, I've been doing this since 2017, and you could go to 2016 for the campaign if you want. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. We've gone through so much together. Everything they've used against me has turned out to be a hoax, that nothing's landed on me. It keeps going. And now you guys think, now you're going to do this to me? You're going to bail on me. You're not going to give me the benefit of the doubt. You're not even going to wait and see how this plays out. Are you serious? And Trump's right. And what he's showing is that there's a bunch of people who are just hacks. They're just hacks, and they've been using him to keep themselves paid and influential. As Q Alert says on Rumble, he says, Trump about to excommunicate a bunch of influencers. Absolutely. Not Terry says, Epstein estate paid Virgin Islands $105 million for using the island for trafficking. Think anything went to victims? That's a good question. We'd have to look at the documents to know. Listen, let's break this down. These are two great posts from this account, Cynical Publius. Okay, for the immediate future, my last word on the Epstein matter. My anger is aimed at the people who repeat rage bait rumor and innuendo as if it were fact. You got to take a second and think about that. What is not fact, but feels like fact. Well, a lot of the Epstein stuff is not fact. It just feels like it. We know there's something there. That's a fact. There's definitely something there, but we really don't know what. And this is being attacked as if they do know. So many of the arguments I've heard treat assumption as fact. This is wrong. Issue has a potential to destroy and unwind everything we've achieved since 2016. Don't you see that? Don't you see that is the reason why the Democrat media complex is glommed on this issue suddenly? Everything is at stake. And when everything's at stake, you damn well better be logically talking about known facts and not repeating lynch mob style rumors you heard. That's my beef. Don't try to cover your malfeasance by saying, I just want justice for the kids. Good intentions are not an excuse for bad actions. 100%. That's the thinking of purple-haired Democrat Karens. Emotion over reason. Just like I've been telling you guys, the reaction is immature. Not saying not to discuss it, saying discuss it within bounds of reality. That's absolutely true. And then he gives this wonderful breakdown to understand what's going on, why the influencers are incentivized to keep this going and to keep attacking Trump in ways that honestly, once the evidence is out, it doesn't add up. To those of you who don't participate in X Creator revenue sharing, let me shed some light. First of all, I don't do this for the money, but I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. I have a little less than 230,000 followers. Any given month, X will pay me somewhere between 2,200 and 6,000. I got that going for me, which is nice, but if I got zero, I'd be okay, blah, 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 blah. Now consider X influencers with millions of followers. Do the math. There's a reason they do it full time. Hold that thought. New set of facts. I only post on stuff I know about. When big news happens, I get a bump. The Iran bombing, for example, saw a spike in my payouts. But when the news cycle is slow, I get bupkis. Consider those influencers who do this full time and have millions of followers instead of just 230,000. When the news is slow, their income goes way down by a significant amount. So what do? They use that massive follower base to create news stories and controversies. They can't allow the news cycle to ever get sedated. So when things get slow, they fabricate controversy. They don't care who gets hurt. They need the clicks like a junkie needs heroin. Please consider these facts the next time one of your beloved MAGA influencers rage baits you. And I'm sorry to say, that's exactly what Alex Jones keeps doing. Remember, I called Alex Jones out 6 months ago because every post of his was World War III is coming. Everything Alex posts is the end of the world or Trump's going down or it's nonstop freaking out every single time. And despite the fact he's done good work in the past, despite the fact that he's been right about a lot of things, and I don't think he's necessarily on the wrong side completely, but Alex is trying to make that money, folks. He is. And he's not the only one. There's several out there, but I pick on him because he's one of the biggest and he's one of the most obvious. You can't keep doing that every single time. And it's real because sometimes things do slow down. And this is a gold mine for the X-influencers, the MAGA influencers. It's a gold mine. They have every incentive to keep it going and keep people pissed off. Rumdog says, while St. Thomas met a security guy who worked on Epstein. Wait, what? While in St. Thomas, I think you're saying? You met a security guard who worked on Epstein Island. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. He told me many of the girls who went there knew why they were going. Eugh, that's terrible. Rally Code over on Rumble says they become an arm of the fake news. Absolutely, they have. And in some ways worse because these people have a more personal connection than the news does. And most people don't realize it. Praying Medic shares this. He says, what MAGA infiltrators were invited to the White House by Pam Bondi to receive ring binders containing Epstein info. Was the information already available to the public? Yes, it was. How did the infiltrators feel after being sent on a wild goose chase? They were humiliated. and felt stupid. Now who's screaming the loudest about releasing the files? Oh, I don't know. Some of the people that were there? DC Drano, Cernovich, Poso, Liz Wheeler, to name a few. Who's demanding Pam Bondi's resignation? Well, I don't know. Cernovich, Liz Wheeler. I mean, come on. Did the infiltrators get played by the Trump administration? Are they now out for revenge against Bondi? You are in the middle of an information operation. There it is, folks. I do think it might be that simple. And just more reasons to believe. Listen to this. I mean, Elon Musk refused to testify in the Epstein court records. And it's so here it is. Well, Elon seems to have forgotten he was dodging an Epstein subpoena not that long ago. Oh, interesting. 2023, Elon Musk ducks subpoena on Jeffrey Epstein tiles are raging at idiotic requests on Twitter. So Elon's out there calling out Trump. Why is no influencer talking about this? This is all out there, folks. It's all out there. And yet nobody wants to talk about it. Sather calling him out. Con Inc., fake MAGA influencers 3 weeks ago. Trump's leading us to World War III with Iran. Con Inc., fake MAGA influencers now. Epstein's all we should ever talk about. Pam Bondi needs to be fired. Trump's breaking his campaign promise covering for pedos. They dumb. MJ Truth, remember, there's a MAGA Incorporated. They are legit people who have concerns rightly in their minds, but there's a MAGA Inc. that was always going to turn their back on Trump. Purpose of MAGA Inc., gain your trust enough so they can sway your thoughts. Nobody's saying we shouldn't demand Epstein transparency. I'm saying be careful of MAGA Inc., blinding you with rage to the point one can't see a bigger picture. That's exactly right. Mad Max says Cerno is another Ann Coulter. They love Trump. They hate him. They love him. They hate him. Oh, yeah. Oh, all these people have been. Rally Code says Alex needs the money because he bankrupted himself over Sandy Hook. That's true. He does. Keep getting those checks, Alex. But Max, you're absolutely right about Cerno. Sometimes I love Cerno. Sometimes I hate him. He turns on a dime. He does. And he's done some good work. And that's the thing, guys. Some of these people have done really good work. They really have. But when it comes to the point where they have to choose between keep getting them checks or Trump, I mean, they choose those checks every single time. They just do. And yeah. So listen, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that's what you're paying for, right? As members. I think it's time to choose. I do. And, you know, I don't care if you disagree with me. We can still be friends. But I think what Trump is doing is he's drawing a line in the sand and he's saying, listen, guys, I've done all this for you. I've come through so much. Are you either going to trust me or not? It's time, because he's done. He doesn't care anymore. He's like, I got stuff to do. I am getting crap done. I'm going to assign, I'm going to get the Epstein stuff figured out. We'll get the information out there that can actually be shared. Fine. You guys want that? I'll get it for you. But this whole stuff of turning on me every freaking 5 months when something comes out, I'm tired of it, and I'm not going to play the game anymore. Now, this is a good thing, because it also tells you that Trump is no longer going to play the game with MAGA. Now, I think he'll still listen to the base, but this means that the influencers are not going to be able to sway him anymore. And one of those, I got to tell you, it's Laura Loomer. Loomer does some great reporting. I'm not going to take away from that. But she also is very quick to attack on everything she disagrees with. She's been calling for Bondi's resignation. She goes nuts on some stuff. And I think Trump's tired of people like her trying to tell him what to do. And they're going to start getting cut off. And it's a good thing, because let's clear them out. Let's expose who's fake and get to work. And speaking of getting to work, John Solomon reports on this. He says, Cash and Bongino quietly working on something huge, and almost no one's talking about it. Grand conspiracy. We talked about this getting started. Well, more's coming out about it. Look at this. The damning email obtained by Solomon. In a stunning exchange, CIA Director Mike Morrell turns to fellow Director John Brennan, this is in 2020, asked if he would join in toppling the U.S. government during the November 3rd election. Brennan not only agrees, but expresses his gratitude. Mike Morrell, quote, "Can I add your name to this list? We'll be adding Leon Panetta, former CIA director under George Bush, Sue Gordon, Jay Johnson, George, I know who this is, but I can't remember the last name right now. Lisa Monaco, Mike Rogers, working on adding Dan Coates, another Rogers, Don Bossert. Trying to give the bleeping vegetable, particularly during the debate on Thursday, a talking point to push back Trump on his issue. John Brennan, okay, Michael, add my name to the list. Good initiative. Thanks for asking me to sign on." Very interesting. Here's all the names signing on to fight and overturn, well, not overturn, but rig the 2020 election. Guys, this is what we need to get into. Solomon has the receipts, and the Trump administration is moving forward on it, and we're getting more and more. Here's Hans Menke from Real Clear Investigations just now putting out some very interesting information. Says, I've been reluctant to share this because I haven't been able to confirm it, but now that Real Clear Investigations has confirmed the foreign policy advisor at the center of the Clinton plot to smear Trump with Russia collusion was indeed Jake Sullivan, I'll say this. A little birdie once told me Russian intelligence intercepted a Sullivan phone call in July 2016 while traveling, which he carelessly bragged to a Democratic operator about the plot. And that comes from this Real Clear Investigation story. Molly Hemingway, secret meeting opens document floodgates on Trump-Russia hoax. Guys, they are going after it. They're going to get these people in prison. And this is going down right now. The Epstein stuff is being used as a distraction while all these wins are going on. They're going all in. And just think about this. What's the number one thing the Democrats want? It's to end Trump's presidency by wiping him out in the midterms. Well, all this good stuff's happening right now. All this stuff MAGA would love is happening right now. And yet everybody's talking about Epstein. Who does it help? Who is it? Who benefits? Obviously the Democrats. So why would MAGA influencers keep dragging on? And I'm not saying don't talk about it. That's not the point. The point is, why not give the proper context to it? That's the real problem. And I'm sorry, but if you're hanging out with those people, if you're helping them ruin us, you're part of the problem. Rumdog says all those people need to be jailed, awaiting their day in court. Sounds like insurrection. It is. Yeah. Max says John Solomon told Steve Bannon some very good things coming in the next 7-10 days. Make MAGA very happy. Amen. I think it's coming on a lot of these investigations. I mean, we're getting so many wins. Look at this. Today, Trump convinced Coke to switch back to real sugar. Ramifications of Trump getting Coke to remove high fructose corn syrup and use cane sugar expands beyond just the drinks. It comes from genetically engineered corn. They source it from at least 1 million acres of corn in the U.S. per year for their drinks. Less high fructose corn syrup in food product means less demand for GMO corn. Get wrecked, big agriculture. That's a huge win. It's so much better. Rumdog, I think Solomon first reported that almost 5 days ago. So Not Terry says this could happen. Pam Bondi appoints special prosecutor, takes case out of D.C. to Florida, changes the jury pool. Trump avoids causing disruption and having D.C. involved. Very interesting. I like that. PPI came in today, lower than all 50 forecasters in Bloomberg's survey. It came in at 0% for last month. 0. No raise in inflation. That's huge. That's huge, my friends. Trump's policies are killing it, and they can barely stand it. And then we talked about this a little bit early, but this is massive. Trump DOJ fired Maureen Comey, daughter of disgraced FBI Director James Comey. She was the key prosecutor for the Southern District of New York and prosecuted Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Diddy, who Diddy just got about as easy a sentence as he possibly could have out of that case because she completely bungled it. Purposeful? I'll let you decide, but yes. Our weekly proof: Thomas Massey's a fraud. Thomas Massey calling for the Epstein list. Well, Rich Bears calls him out. Go back and count how many times Massey has brought up Epstein before this week. Forget how many times he demanded accountability, which I will tell you now is 0. And Congress has no authority here anyways. So, but Massey, all of a sudden, he's jumping on the train. Massey, always with the Democrats. How's that working for him? That is, I mean, kind of good, I guess. He keeps getting reelected, but man, MAGA, wake up. Thomas Massey is an enemy. He's an enemy. US One says, how about we take the corn out of our gasoline? Well, that's part of it, US One. Guess what? The corn subsidies started really getting huge under Bush because he was pushing ethanol. And then corn got really cheap because of all the government subsidies. Well, what Sather's saying is that if Koch signs off on this and they stop using 1 million acres of government subsidized corn, it's going to make less corn available, which means we probably will start seeing less ethanol, stuff like that, which is a very good thing. Ethanol is terrible for your engine long term. So, anyways, yeah, it's a big win. It's a big win. All right. So everybody now is talking about how Trump's lost the midterms because of all this Epstein stuff. Well, let's let our favorite New York Jew, Harry Enton, tell us just exactly how bad it really is for Trump in the midterms right now.
The bottom line is this: Democrats are behind their 2006 and 2018 paces when it comes to the generic congressional ballot. What are we talking about here? All right, the Democrats versus the Republicans on the generic congressional ballot, the margins. Look at where we are now. Democrats are ahead, but by just 2 points. Look at where Democrats were already ahead by in 2017. They were behind by 7 points. How about 2005 on the generic congressional ballot? Ahead by 7 points, ahead by 7 points. And now they're only ahead by 2 points. Their lead is less than half of where it was in either 2017 or 2005 in July of those years, the year before the midterm election. Yes, Donald Trump may be unpopular, but Democrats have not come anywhere close to sealing the deal at this particular point.
Yeah, wave looks very different.
Yes.
All right, this is the generic ballot test. This is when you test people in a generic question. Of course, the House races aren't generic. There are 435 of them. What happens when you go race by race?
What happens when you go race by race? Well, it's the same idea. Okay, House seat ratings with the GOP president, like back in 2005 and, of course, 2017. More net pickup seat chances. Well, last time around, look at that. Democrats were ahead by 33 seats. How about in 2005? Democrats were ahead by 7 seats. What's going on right now? It's actually Republicans. Republicans with more net pickup chances at plus 12, according to the Cook Political Report, when you add in the likelies, the leans, and the toss-up races. So it's not just on the generic ballot where Democrats are behind their 2017 and 2005 pace. It's actually when it comes seat by seat, you see that at least at this particular point, Republicans actually have more net pickup opportunities. This doesn't look anything like those wave elections back in 2006 or 2018.
If it doesn't look anything like those years, what does it look like?
Okay, so what does it look like? Well, let's take a look back at the generic congressional ballot. What was going on in Ipsos in October of 2024? Democrats were ahead by 2 points. Look at where we are now. Democrats ahead by 2 points among registered voters. At this particular point, this election cycle looks a lot more like 2024 than it does than either 2018 or 2006. And so, of course, Republicans actually held onto the House back in 2024. Will it happen this time around? We'll just have to wait and see. But for anyone who's writing the Republican House's political obituaries, hold the phone. This is a reality check. Republicans are still very much in the game.
You don't say so, Harry. Oh, my goodness. Wow, could it possibly be that bad for the Democrats? Oh my God, Democrat Party approval rating 19%. How does their approval rating keep going down when Trump is supposedly just falling apart right now? Whew, it's getting crazy. Do not believe the influencers. Just don't believe them. Anybody who's getting paid to do this, and you can say like, well, you get paid to do this. I get paid very little. This is not even my second job. This is like, this is my fun gig. And yeah, just trust me. If I could, I'd be doing this all day. I would, but I could just never be, I could never sell my soul the way these people do. And that's why we're hanging out here late at night, because I put everything else first. But despite what the panicans are saying, the Democrats keeps going down. Mad Max says Massey claims to be the most fiscally responsible conservative in Congress. He not only voted for Biden's inflation-busting spending bill, he was the deciding vote to get the bill out of committee. That's exactly right. Exactly right. Terry says Gates flew into D.C. this weekend and missed Turning Point event for a meeting with Trump. No, that actually was debunked. He took a personal day. He had a personal emergency. A lot of people said it was for Trump, but he came out and said no. So maybe it still was, and they're just throwing us off. But for now, we know as what we know is that Gates did not actually go there. Weedfield says Rum Dog. Oh man. All right, and this just popped up, so I'm going to share this real quick before we end tonight. But they are passing the Genius Act, and there's been a lot of people saying, well, this is just opening the CBDCs. Well, they just added anti-CBDC language to be codified, allowing his Genius Act to pass. And so here it is. House Freedom Caucus members reach agreement tonight to advance President's cryptocurrency agenda. As part of the agreement, National Defense Authorization Act will include strong anti-CBDC protections in the must-pass legislation. So there you go, folks. The Bitcoin stuff's going to pass, and no CBDCs, central bank digital currency, for those who don't know. But anyways, this is great stuff, folks. We're doing well. Trump, so much more is going on that's good than bad. We're winning. We're moving forward. And this Epstein thing, I just have a feeling that at the end of it, Trump's going to be validated again. And what we're going to get out of it is that a bunch of influencers are going to be exposed. Trump's going to be proven right. And we're going to move forward again. I just feel better about it every day the more information comes out. Brett asked, did I see the dude looks like ET in Minnesota running for mayor? Yeah, it's crazy. I think he's got like a record too. He's a Somalian, which is wild. But the Democrats are going crazy right now. They have no leader. And so they're letting the crazies run the asylum. It's getting wilder and wilder on the left, but it is what it is. Anyways, love you guys. I'm going to call it a night. It's late. It's been real. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, the members. You guys make it all happen. I really, really love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Please, if you're not already, get in the Discord. It's a lot of fun in there. We're having a lot of fun 24/7. We got all these stocks. G-Bucks next week might be interesting. They just announced today they're working on getting the dividend out. Official announcement from the company. Fingers start to look a little bit interesting again. We'll see what happens there, even though earnings weren't great. M10, man, is looking wild. So we'll see if anything more happens with that, but it's already up almost 100% from when it got called out last week. So things are moving. We're starting to get some wins. And listen, America's getting better. We're on the right track. Don't fall for the noise. Okay. I am officially, I've already was mostly there, but today I just decided, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to just pretend. I'm not going to try to look for other options. I'm just going to, today I'm like, I'm on Team Trump no matter what, unless it's just so overwhelming. It's like, I'm not going to play this game anymore. I don't even want to be a part of it. I want to be on the side that Trump trusts, because when it all is said and done, I believe that's going to be the side validated in history. So, it's time to pick a side, because if nothing else, even if you don't pick the same side I do, it'll give you more peace than wondering where we're going. But I feel more and more confident that this is all going to lead to something very good for America and MAGA. So, Rumdog asks, can we do a show on becoming an isolationist country? What would you want me to talk about, Rumdog? That's a good question. Oh man, you're welcome. Thank you for writing in. Ooh, I got real blurry all of a sudden. That's not good. Over on YouTube, at least. I don't know about on Rumble. Rumdog, what are you thinking? That's what I need to know. If you want to know about being isolationist, I got to have points to talk about. Like, are we going to become one? Do you want to become one? Reasons we should? Like, what do you mean by that? That's what I need to know. So send over your ideas maybe in the Discord. All right. I got to call it a night, guys. I got another long day tomorrow. So God bless you all. Have a great night. And I'm so appreciative of you guys, members. If you haven't yet and you're on YouTube, make sure to get in the Patreon so that once we are fully moved over to Rumble, you won't get left behind. All right. It's in the description. Free month. Get started. See if you like it. All right. God bless you guys. Take care. Have a great night. Good night.